Reaction from the White House today after a Florida Republican claimed victory in a race that many analysts call a referendum now on Obamacare. David Jolly, who has one of the best names in politics, winning a hard-fought battle in a local contest attracting national attention and millions of dollars. And it could spell trouble now for Democrats in November. Joining me, our political panel, Chris Plante, radio talk show host of The Chris Plante Show, and Jessica Ehrlich, a Democratic strategist and former congressional candidate for this exact Florida seat we're talking about today. Right. So Jessica, you were running on the Democratic side in the primary against Alex Sink, but you bowed out of the race, correct?
Yes, back in November.
Okay.
I was actually in the race before, so there was no primary.
I see. All right. So you would know better than anyone what this race may have boiled down to. Do you believe that it had anything to do with Obamacare, or was it something else?
I think really what the key takeaway should be from the race is that all politics are local, and particularly when you're talking about a congressional race for the House of Representatives. Specifically with this Florida 13th Congressional District, I was born and raised here, and it's really unique in the country because it's one of the few congressional districts that's made up of only one county. So it really comes down to a community. And we've seen, time and again here, Alex actually got the Democrats out to vote, and David got the Republicans out to vote, but about a third of the constituents here are independent voters. And when you have Washington pouring millions and millions of dollars into a race like this, working on these national messages, what gets lost is the vote and the voice of the real folks who live there. And I think that's exactly what happened here.
Well, that's very interesting, though, because there is a little nugget out there, Chris, that says that this election may have been a small part of Obamacare, not really the big picture, but a small part called Medicare Advantage. And that a lot of the elderly voters who tend to go to these kinds of elections where there's a small turnout, and a lot of them live in Florida, that they don't like the changes that Obamacare is going to bring for Medicare Advantage. Do you read anything into that?
Well, certainly that's an element when you have an older voting population and people are going to be motivated to get out on Election Day when it's going to affect them personally and financially. Certainly, but this is also, keep in mind, a race that the Democrats and the Republicans sought to make a national referendum on Obamacare and on President Obama. If you look at the campaign ads, they were focused very heavily on repeal of Obamacare or fixing Obamacare. That was kind of the big back and forth in the television ads.
Right. The
Republican was outspent nearly 4-1. He was expected to lose, was not described as a strong candidate or really barely viable candidate, and the fact that he won has got to have the Democrats swallowing their tongue at this point.
Well, yeah. So what do you make of that, Jessica? Because the challenger, according to my notes, Alex Sink had $1.5 million more than Jolly did. So should other candidates in Florida who are facing similar congressional races, or for that matter anywhere across the country, be nervous?
Well, I think, I've really had the pleasure of meeting a lot of the Democratic congressional candidates from around the country from back when I was running, and they are really strong and independent thinkers. And that really is what is the strength of Democrats in general, is that they're a party of folks who really have good ideas and ways that they can go and make a difference. They're not the party of no like the Republicans.
Well,
and what happens when you have this focus?
Maybe that's true, but the problem is right now, I think, most analysts would say that they're maybe not voting on local issues, but strictly on a national issue like Obamacare. Got to wrap it there, Chris.
Well, they're not,
Jessica.
because if they were in this district, then we would have seen more folks come out and it would have been a bigger split. What happened was is that the issues that are the economic issues.
The independent thinkers all carry the same water.
I was just going to say the independents could be the most telling thing in this election, with so many of them choosing to go on the Republican side. Got to wrap it there. Great to see the both of you.